Today we're checking out the new Redmi Pad 2 Pro by Xiaomi. I paid just under $350 for this one, but I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information. If there's a comparison you'd like to see with this new tablet, let me know down in the comments below. It's got a 12.1 inch IPS LCD display at 2560 by 1600 resolution, up to 120 Hz refresh rate at 600 nits brightness. It also has Dolby Vision, comes with 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, depending on whether you go with 128 or 256 gigabytes of storage. Okay, build quality on this actually looks pretty nice, especially with the silver color. It comes with the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 processor, also takes a micro SD card up to 2 terabytes, also has a quad speaker setup with Dolby Atmos, and yes, it still has a 3.5mm headphone jack as well. Comes with Android 15, Xiaomi Hyper OS 2, also has Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.4. There's also a 5G version as well. Weighs in at about 610 grams. Also supports the Redmi Smart Pen and keyboard cover as well. When setting up, you will have Face Unlock, and then of course pattern, PIN, or password. It looks like it's on gestures by default, but of course you can always change that later in the settings. You can see it's pretty much the same size as the previous Redmi Pad Pro. Somehow it's about the same thickness as well, even though it has a larger battery. Obviously a little bit different camera style there on the back. You can see the new font for the Redmi logo is a little bit different as well. Software wise is going to be very similar to other Xiaomi and Redmi devices, kind of a mixture between iPadOS and Android. Just like any other Android device, once you use it for a little while, you're going to get used to it. Now it does have automatic brightness, just like most tablets, but it also has a sunlight mode to prevent the screen from getting too dark when you're outside. You can also choose between 60, 90, or 120 Hz refresh rate, or if you leave it on default, it will adjust automatically. Of course, you have Gemini as the assistant and some AI features similar to other Android devices like Circle to Search. Nice thing is it can go up to 4K resolution for YouTube videos, and overall I think the screen quality on here actually looks pretty nice. Now the viewing angles and the brightness isn't going to be the best out there, but considering the price I feel like it's actually pretty decent, probably good enough for most people once you see this in person. It doesn't look like you're going to get desktop mode or anything like that on here, but you do have split screen and floating windows to be a little more productive. It's also Wi-Fi L1, which is good for streaming apps like Netflix. As you can see by the benchmark results, it seems to be a nice increase in performance over the previous Redmi Pad Pro. Also has a nice increase in GPU performance as well. It's actually going to be nice for playing games on here. If you're using a Bluetooth controller, it's pretty nice to play on a little bit larger screen like this, but it's still pretty comfortable to hold in the hands. I feel like you have to reach a little bit further to get to stuff on the screen, but overall not bad as far as performance and gaming goes, considering the size of the screen and price. Again, nice jump up in performance over the previous Redmi Pad Pro. Actually has quite a bit larger battery than the previous Redmi Pad Pro at 12,000 milliamp hours versus 10,000. Also has 33 watt fast charging. It even has 27 watt wired reverse charging as well. I also ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and this one lasted a little longer than the previous Redmi Pad Pro at 7 hours, so pretty good compared to other tablets I've tested, and should last a couple days of normal use, even longer once you turn the screen brightness down. The speakers on here are actually nice and loud. It doesn't have a lot of bass, but I think the overall sound is actually pretty loud. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of how it sounds compared to the previous Redmi Pad Pro. It's got an 8 megapixel camera on the back, 8 megapixel on the front. Inside the camera app, you've got Pro, Portrait, Photo. For video, you can shoot up to 1080p resolution, 30 frames per second. Also has documents. The shutter speed seems to be pretty quick on here. Definitely not going to be the best quality camera out there, but probably just good enough if you had to use this in a pinch. Here's a few quick samples just to give you an idea of what to expect from the new Redmi Pad 2 Pro. I believe this tablet is going to get 4 years of software updates and 4 years of security updates. So not quite as good as the Redmi Pad 2 for some reason. I assume because that one is more popular since it's cheaper. Not really sure. But overall, the Redmi Pad 2 Pro is a nice upgrade over the previous Redmi Pad Pro for anyone who's trying to decide between those two. If you're thinking about upgrading, I'm not sure if it's going to be a big enough improvement for most people, but kind of personal preference there. I think it just comes down to what you're looking for in a tablet, because there's quite a few other options out there. But if you like tablets, phones, and other tech, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on as usual. So keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.